Hey everyone, in this example, I want to show you a way in which we can build a Selenium application and set it to automatically fire every single day. What we'll do is create that app inside of WaveScript and we'll use a cron trigger to automatically fire it. Let's get started. So starting out inside of wavescript.com, what we'll do is go into a workspace and create a new layer. This will house our Selenium application. So you can name it whatever you want and click on create. This will put us inside of that layer where we can build this application into. Next, we'll develop our application. We can see our text editor by clicking on develop to the left, and we'll create a new Python file. We'll call it something like selenium app.py and hit return. So we're given access to a full text editor and a terminal that we'll use to create our application. I have some sample code set up here, and we'll talk through all of this. So within our code, we have a few options that we need to set up on our WebDriver that we need to use whenever we're using WaveScript to do this. These options are linked down below and they can be found in the documentation. Then, once we have our imports of Selenium, we're choosing a site to go to. In this case, it's python.org. And on python.org, what we can do is we can inspect the page by right-clicking, inspect, and we'll get a view that looks like this, where we can highlight elements on the web page. Once we find an element that we want to pull out from this web page, so once we find an element that we want to pull out, what you can do is you can right click and then you can copy by the XPath. So as you see, we can click copy and then copy XPath. We could also copy any of these other attributes and use Selenium in the same way to find the element by different identifying characteristics, such as the name or the class. So once we have that XPath, we're saying use the driver to find an element by the XPath, and then we have that XPath pasted in here. Once we have all of this, we're ending our session with driver.quit. And that's all it takes to pull something from a web page using Selenium. Now, if we want to use this within this terminal, we'll need to be sure to install it using pip install Selenium. We'll execute this, we will install it, and now we can say Python Selenium app, which is just the name of our script, .py. And as you see, once we execute that, we get back the text that we expect. In this example, we just have a static web page, so it doesn't make too much sense to use a cron trigger to scrape this every day. But you could imagine that you have a web page that changes every day and you want some information from it. In order to create a cron trigger, it's very simple. What we'll do is click this show triggers button on the bottom, and then we'll click this plus. Here we can choose cron. And with this cron, our command to run will just be the same thing that we use in the terminal to execute our script. So Python selenium app.py. Then in our mode, there's a few built-ins that we can use, such as minute, 10 minutes, and every hour. But let's create a custom one if we want to run this every day. Don't worry if you've never seen cron before. So the first of our 5 digits will just be the minute, and the second will be the hour. So let's say we want to run this every day at 8 a.m. I'll make sure a handy resource for creating cron tabs is linked down below too. That way you can use it if you want to. And now, once we have that set up, our final step will be to deploy this into a prod state so it automatically fires every day at 8 a.m. So if you have any questions about any of this, please let me know and I'll be happy to help. All this code will be linked on GitHub, and you're also able to clone my WaveScript layer if you want to create an account with them and just clone this directly into your own workspace. Like I said, if there's any questions, please let us know and we'll be happy to help. Until next time.